Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to introduce our new Fall 2021 release, which is available for pre-order now, and everything will begin shipping around September 22nd. Now for this release, we have 19 new stamps and dies. And without further ado, let's introduce our first set. This is our new boundless poinsettias. It's a 9 by 12 inch stamp, and I'm just showing you an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock to show you how big this set really is. It's 9 by 12 inch, and you can see this is our patent pending group layering stamp. So all of the bars and squares that you see are patent pending to help you align each layer flawlessly. You have 3 floral layers and 2 foliage layers, and these 3 individual stamps, you're just going to stamp it inside the 3 poinsettias. And then there are 6 sentiments: joy to the world, sending warm winter greetings, all is calm, all is bright, Merry Christmas, sending love this Christmas, and happy holidays. And this is what the stamped panel will look like. This is an A2 panel. And then this is the coordinating die, which will cut out the cluster. And you can create some really beautiful color combinations with your inks. You can go traditional with red, or you can stamp blue, purple, or orchid color poinsettias. Now for this next card, what I did was I took the cluster and sliced it in half right down the middle, and then used it as a top and bottom border for this card. And then this is part of our ribbons holiday sentiment set, which I will introduce to you in just a bit. And then these are our mini sprigs, which I created using our mini sprigs die, which I will introduce to you later in this video. So here are just a few A2 panels that I stamped. You can see I went really bold with some of the leaves, or really light with the leaves. I used our Lofty Mint and Raw Sea Glass for that light green combination. And here I just have some turquoise leaves with the purple poinsettias. So when you die cut this beautiful cluster, you can just throw it onto your card front to create an easy holiday card. Next up is our ribbons holiday set. This is a 6 by 8 inch photopolymer set. There are 2 main layers, and each layer has the patent pending strategic markers to help you align both layers. And then there are several additional sentiments that you can add on to the main sentiment. Just stamp it onto a strip and add it to your main sentiment. And this is what your panel will look like once you stamp both of those layers. Go crazy with your color combos or not, stick with traditional or non-traditional, but what you get are 5 stamp sentiments, and the coordinating die will die cut all 5 sentiments in one single shot through your die cutting machine. And this is what the die cut will look like. You can see the outline around the stamped sentiment. So these are going to be great for mass producing your holiday cards this year. For this card, I just took 3 of the Merry die cuts and placed it in front of a tree die cut, which you'll see later in this video. Next up are our confetti shaped circle, square, and star stamp set. All 3 are 4 by 6 inch stamps, and they just have this beautiful confetti design. So let's start off with the circle set. You have 3 main circle designs, and the confetti design is contained within the circle. And then there are additional Christmas sentiments in this circle set. Next up is the square set. This also has 3 shapes, but instead of circles, they're squares. And instead of holiday sentiments, I included celebratory and birthday and encouragement sentiments because I didn't want to be too focused on Christmas. So I wanted to make these sets as versatile as possible. Next up is our confetti shapes star set. This one also has 3 stars in it in different sizes. And then you get a ho 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 sentiment, eat, drink, and be merry sentiment, and a you're a rock star sentiment, which is really great if you want to give someone a gold star. So these sets also have coordinating dies available separately. For the circles, you have the nesting dies. They also have piercing on the inner portion of the cut line. Then you have this die, which will cut out 3 string die cuts, and this die will cut out 3 sizes of ornament bases so that you can create these round confetti shapes into ornaments. So it's one single die which will cut out 3 bases. Similarly, the star coordinating dies also has the string die, which will cut out 3 die cuts. And then for this portion of the die, it'll cut out 3 ornament bases that you can just stick onto these star points. For the squares, it's a little different because you have this one single die that'll cut out 3 ribbon die cuts with piercing details inside. And here's just a closer look at what the ribbon die cut will look like. can turn the squares into ornaments as well if you use the string die cut from the other collections. And here are just a few samples created by our design team members. Next up is our 6x6-inch poinsettia bouquet set. This features one large floral cluster and 4 sentiments. Let's say "So Very Merry" from my family to yours, to you and yours, and "Holly Jolly Everything." The coordinating die that's available separately will cut out the floral cluster, and here are just a couple of samples that I created. This was gold heat embossed and watercolored with color bursts, and then this next one was stamped in our caviar hybrid ink, which is Copic friendly. So then I just did a little bit of Copic coloring for this beautiful cluster. And here are just some samples created by Vera, our design team member. This next card was white heat embossed and watercolored by me, and then I'm going to show you this sentiment later in this video. So next up is our styled Christmas sentiments. It's a 4x6-inch set. There are 5 sentiments on one single stamp. So you have the season's greetings from my family to yours, wishing you a Merry Christmas, wishing you happy holidays, sending warm winter wishes to you and yours, and then sending joy and cheer. And then 2 pattern stamps. There's one scallop and then one candy cane kind of design. Use them as a background, create fun tags with them, or use them as a standalone design. So here you can see that one single stamp has all 5 sentiments on it. You can just stamp it onto a panel, and the coordinating die, which is available separately, will die cut all 5 sentiments in one single shot through your die cutting machine, making it really easy to mass produce your Christmas cards this year. And here's just a sample of how I use those stamps, or die cuts rather. Next up is our this year 2x3-inch mini stamp. The main sentiment says "Sending holiday cheer despite the year," and the other stamp in there says "Wishing you a joyful Christmas season." And the set also has a coordinating die available separately. Next up is our dashing and pleasing poinsettias. Both are 6x8-inch stamps. They are separate stamps. I'm just showing you them together because they are kind of similar, but they're different. So they are both patent pending grouped layering sets. So you have the grouped layering bars and squares to help you align each layer flawlessly. So you can see side by side that while they are somewhat similar because you have the trio of poinsettias, they are different because the dashing poinsettias are a little more abstract and the pleasing poinsettias have a little bit more detail to it. The dashing poinsettias have 2-step leaves and the pleasing poinsettias have 3-step leaves. So here you can see the difference. These are a little bit more detailed, and you can actually use those leaves for florals as well. So these are dies for the dashing poinsettias, and these are dies for the pleasing poinsettias. The die collections are available separately. And here are just some samples of what the die cuts look like. The first one was our dashing poinsettias, and these are pleasing poinsettias. And these are just some cards that I created using both sets. And here you can see I use our modern plaid background stamp for this card, clear embossed, and then our slim frames borders for that slim border around the card. Next up is our Holly Bits 4x6-inch stamp. This is also a patent pending group layering set. There are 2 layers for the holly leaves and 2 layers for the berries. The coordinating die, which is available separately, will die cut all images in one single shot. And here's just what the stamped image will look like once you stamp all 4 layers. And I just use our Couture Color layering inks to create these beautiful festive panels. Once you die cut all 4 images easily using the coordinating die, you have all of these really fun bits that you can use to add to your floral clusters, or you can use them as standalone. But I like to create fuller floral clusters with these bit stamps. So here you can see I use them in this fashion. So next up is our mini sprigs die. This die will cut out 9 delicate mini sprigs die cuts easily because it's just one die which will cut out all 9 delicate sprigs. And I love it because just easy to mass produce these die cuts, which you can use for your floral clusters. Next up is our fancy folk tree layering A2 cover plate dies. You can see both of these dies have stitching, scoring, and die cut details. It's just so cool. You're going to layer your panel using both cover plates. And then there's this one tree die, which I'll show you later. So this is the die you want to use first. It has a double stitch line around the tree image. This is layer 1. This is the die you want to start off with. So I have an A2 piece of card panel, and you're just going to tape it onto your first cover plate die, send it through your die cutting machine, and this is the result that you get after you do so. And here you can see there are stitching, piercing, and scoring and die cutting effects on this A2 die cut panel. So it's so cool. After you send this through with the first die, this is die number 2. You can identify because it has the solid tree line. So you're going to take that die cut from your first die, and you're just going to tape it inside the A2 cut line of your second die, and this is the result after you send that through your die cutting machine. It's going to completely cut out that tree in the center of your cover plate die cut. So you can see all of the stitching, piercing, scoring, and die cut details. It's just so cool. I haven't really seen anything like this on the market. There are layered stamps, and there are, like those kind of layered floral dies and layered cover plate dies, but I haven't really seen anything that does these layering, stitching, and piercing and whatnot. So I think it's just so cool. So this is the tree die cut that you get after you die cut both cover plate dies. I used that tree die cut and I added it to one of my cards, and I just backed it with that solid tree die cut, but in white. So I obtained a tone-on-tone look. So this is that solid tree die cut that you could use to create that tone-on-tone look. Just like I'm doing so here, you can just back it up easily onto that tree die cut, the one with all that stitching and whatnot. Or you can use a colored cardstock to create a more colorful effect. Next up is our Festive Folk A2 cover plate die. It's similar to the die collection that I just showed you, but for this die, there's no layering. There's only one cover plate die. You have that Nordic pattern at the top and bottom borders, and then some additional whimsical designs. You have the jumping reindeer, the holly leaves, and some flourishes. So this is what the die cut looks like close up. This is just one die. It's not layering. So you get this one effect using the one A2 size cover plate die. And you have the empty space in the middle of that die cut. So what you can use is our Merry Folk Sentiments. This is a 6x6 inch photopolymer set. It has 4 sentiments that you can stamp inside the empty space of your Festive Folk cover plate die cut. So here you can just back your panels with some colored or holographic cardstock to easily create one layered holiday cards. Next up is our Holiday Floral Coloring Bit Stamp. This is a 4x6 inch stamp. All of these images that you see here are on one single stamp. So it's going to be really easy to stamp everything all at once, color everything in, and then die cut all of the images using the coordinating die. And I created this because I just don't have the patience to stamp and die cut small individual images. And with this kind of set, you are going to be able to just mass produce these little bits and easily create your holiday cards. I created a really pretty fun holiday background using this set. Next up is our Poinsettia mail stamp set. This is a 4x6 inch stamp, and you can use this beautiful large stamp to stamp the front of your envelopes to decorate them as you send out your Christmas cards this year. So you can see how gorgeous this design is. You don't even have to color them in. You can also emboss it. And then here you can see there are 4 lines. That last line is for international recipients. Next up is our Jolly Border 6x6 inch photopolymer set. You can see this beautiful border, and then there's a sentiment and an envelope stamp, and then 3 elements that you can use to create floral clusters. And then this line is you can add a 4th line to that envelope stamp if you want to send your cards to international recipients. The coordinating die for this set is also the coordinating die for our Wonderland print stamp set. So you can use the same dies for both sets. Next up is our obligatory Christmas 4x6-inch set. There are some really funny sentiments in this set. You have the Merry Christmas. Hopefully you received this by February. And then for this holiday season, may all your gifts come with receipts. And then this says, this is more than just a Christmas card. It's also your gift. You're welcome. And then you can pair the obligatory Christmas sentiment with the Merry Christmas sentiment on the right side of the set. It's just a really fun sentiment set. So that is it for our fall 2021 release. We have all 19 new stamps and dies available for pre-order now, and they'll begin shipping on September 22nd. Head over to our release blog post for more details on all of our sets and for inspiration by design team members. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I update it regularly. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.